Welcome to Dining Room Stories with Domar and Andrea, where we take you behind the scenes of the restaurant business world with stories and conversation that inspire. Today, we are joined by a restaurateur who has made his mark on Melbourne's top dining venues. Born in Ivrea, Torino, he studied economics and tourism before moving to Australia, where he refined his craft in some of the city's finest establishments. In 2022, he took the leap into ownership, taking the helm at Park Street Pasta Wine in South Melbourne and making it his own. It's a pleasure to welcome to Dining Room Stories, Mr. Luca Balbo.
Thank you.
Benvenuto.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine.
Ciao,
Thank
Luca.
You.
Ciao
Thank
Luca,
you for having me
welcome.
here.
Grazie di essere
Andrea,
venuto.
grazie Oma, grazie a voi.
Yeah, thank you.
Grazie a voi.
So, you grew up in Ivrea. First of all, can you explain to the public where Ivrea is?
Okay, Ivrea is a little town between Torino and Aosta. Actually, around now it's a carnival week, which is a kind of strange old carnival in Italy.
In the north, right?
In the north,
of
yeah,
Italy,
north part. Yeah, sorry. So we're talking about Piedmont region.
Yeah.
It's close to Valle d'Aosta, so close to the French border, sort of thing. And famous for Olivetti, you know, the first typing machine.
Is that the place where they throw oranges?
Yeah, right now it's happening. It's actually happening. Today is gonna be the last day. It's famous for the carnival. It's famous for the Olivetti. It's a beautiful city, tiny little one. We're talking about 25,000 inhabitants. I come from there.
Yeah, it's great.
I grew up there.
Yeah, I've been to Ivrea recently and it was really nice. Like, the architecture is really interesting, but also it's like in this beautiful region and around like there's like wineries and it's really famous region for that. So that's your background. You're born there. What was like your first experience in the hospitality industry?
It looks weird, but I have no background in hospitality back then. I never worked in restaurant or catering or proper hospitality job, even though my father owned a little bar, you know, the classic bar di quartiere, where you can find, I don't know, cigarette, get a scratchy, play lotto, get a coffee. So since early age, I worked there. That was definitely the first experience as in hospitality. And even though I was deeply connected to the hospitality world, was the first approach to relationship with customer, interacting with the public. By the end of the day, we were just serving espresso, serving croissant. We didn't have any food. But it was good. It was fun, and that was my first experience with the hospitality world.
Yeah, that's amazing. So in Italy, we call like bar di quartiere, like a classic bar when you can have a coffee, usually the aperitivo and stuff. And in every corner, in every city in Italy, you can find this kind of bar. But also you have looking at your education, you studied economics and tourism management. And then there was like still, I would say like the beginning of like getting into the hospitality world in that sense.
Wasn't still in my mind because I actually start hospitality here in Australia. I always love to travel. That's why I study economics of tourism. I always love to meet new culture, meet new people, and be surrounded by different type of culture in general. That's why I decided to start economics. First of all, for this reason. Second of all, because I think economic open you a lot of different doors, rather than study, I don't know, medicine or law, which prepare you to be in a specific topic, rather than be flexible and be able to, to surf in the wave of the market, to be flexible to different situations. And mainly also because I didn't know what to study.
No, that's
so
right.
It was the easiest thing for me.
Yeah, but so like the tipping point for you has been the travel, like the experience.
The experience.
And so at one point you ended up in Buenos Aires. I've been recently to South America and I loved Argentina, the culture, the food. So what happened after? So you decided to leave Italy and then you move into this like trip of experience in life.
That was, I need to do it because my course of study needs some amount of credit to get to the final stage of the course and get your thesis. And this part of credit you could get going overseas and doing an internship. So working for someone else anywhere you want, but it needs to be overseas, out of Europe. That was the only requirement. And I found this guy actually in the bar I was working, where back then was the CEO of Telecom Personal, which is basically the telecom in South America. And this guy said, okay, if you want, you can come with me. And I left for a month without saying a single word in Spanish. It wasn't an hospitality orientated because I did some job for the advertising department of the company. We used to go with the troupe, we're filming like a normal advertising back 20 years ago. And we used to report what happened during this filming to the head office in Puerto Madero, right? On the river. And it was a really nice experience. Was a kind of the antipasto what happened after many years in Australia. So leaving your hometown and going,
And so then it's like,
place.
And then when you ended up in Australia, like after that, and you had the first experience of, say, like one of your first experiences at dock, right?
Yeah, it was a dock. I came in Australia. I decided to come to Melbourne actually after recommendation from this big CEO. Was traveling on a weekly basis around the world for work. And he told me, if you never want to leave Italy, go to Melbourne because it's pumping. It's a beautiful melting pot of different culture. And back then I was 23, 24. So I said, okay, let's go there. Plus I got a friend here. Otherwise he always say that I don't mention him, which was my contact in 2012. And this guy introduced me with the manager of DOC. And I started my journey with DOC without being able to do anything because, as I mentioned before, I never worked in a restaurant before. But I was really willing to learn. I proposed myself for free for like 2 or 3 weeks. So I went there and worked for free between services. So the coffee maker was able to spend some time with me and teach me the job. And after that, was an escalation between barista, manager, venue manager, and so on.
That's great. So you took the challenge. You decided, like all of us, I would say, like I came to Australia like a long time ago, and also Omar came here a long time ago. So it's like this leap of faith that we came here, and we're all in Melbourne because we love this city.
Yeah, we love this city. It's a city full of opportunities. I do think something has changed since 2012. Was a bit. It never happened right now that someone comes to me and say, "I offer you 2 or 3 weeks work for free to learn the job." We rather prefer to asking the salary, how much we're gonna get per hour, without even showing the skill.
I don't think it's gonna happen today. Listening. And Luca, in 2012, what was Melbourne food scene compared to now?
Was different. Definitely was different from now. First of all, I think the variety of the offering was different. Just to give you an example, talking about DOC again, the offering of the pizza as a product was maybe them plus 39 and maybe Johnny with 400 gradi. I don't remember more than them. And if you think about right now, how many good quality pizza you can find in Melbourne, it's 10 times more than before. And this competition brings up to a situation where now even the quality it's higher, because with more competitor, you need to, to higher standard. So in terms of also the people, you can't accommodate people anymore. People are pretending a good product, a good service.
Hi guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode. Remember to subscribe to our channel to get updates and keep enjoying the rest of the episode.
And also, I would say in the dining habit, because when I came here 13 years ago, people were used to go out at 5:30. They're still going out early, but in a different way. Maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock. They stay longer. They share meals instead of having a main by themselves. A pasta that before was bland, now they want a little bit more al dente. And I personally think it's a consequence of our education, of what we brought to the table along all these years.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the economy now in the restaurant industry?
We need another podcast for it. And the situation now is it's pretty hard. Talking with people, they've been here for 30, 40 years. They said there is the harder recession they ever experienced. But I personally think it's just a cycle. We can overcome this situation. Is gonna be a matter of time, maybe another year, maybe less. But looking at the situation with my, I think, positive, optimistic way, if we stick together, we get through it. Because I saw the changing also in this perspective as a business owner. Before, everyone was acting like a little individual tribe. Now you see everyone sharing their difficulties. So put your vulnerability on the table. It's a sign of strength. I've just been recently to a seminar, to a meeting with Raymond Communication. And there were a lot of people from Embla, Grossi Florentino, big people from the hospitality industry. And everyone was giving a tip to the other person how to try to find a way to get through it. And I think that's an amazing sign. Even though making deals, a lot of collaboration. You see a lot, especially in the Italian community, a lot of people that collaborating between them to help each other out. And I think that's a great way to try to face this challenge.
It's definitely a great thing for the community and for the hospitality industry and people. In your career, when you were starting up, especially since 2012 when you arrived in Australia, were there any key mentors that influenced your hospitality career?
Definitely the former boss of DOC, was Tony. Just say hi to Tony.
Maybe we'll do an interview with him. Ciao, Tony.
Ciao, Tony.
And he passed me the passion for the job, the attention to details, how to sell the product on the spot. People are waiting, offer their grissino with some San Daniele prosciutto, half glass of prosecco. This little family business orientated on people. So definitely him. If you would like to know something on a big scale, I'm fascinated and interested in anyone who wants to bring hospitality into a business. So the American-Australian approach, starting from Danny Meyer, from, Joe Bastianich, even just Tommaso from Antico Vinaio. These people, when they really look into the hospitality industry as an opportunity to create something important. It doesn't really matter to make a profit or to create an empire, but to pass your philosophy to the customer. The profit comes after that, if you work well.
In your opinion, is it possible to scale an hospitality business?
It's possible to scale. It's more difficult in other industry because the margin is tight. You want to always be attached to what you do, especially us, better than me. you own multiple venues, and it's difficult to delegate. That's why it's important to surround yourself by people better than you. Sometimes it's fundamental. It's really important. And just when you surround yourself by nice people, you're able to delegate. You see the next step. You can scale the business. So you definitely can do it.
Yeah, I think it's great, the process of like delegation. Sometimes it's challenging. Do you work in the business, or you're already at the stage where you're delegating a level that you're overseeing the operations in your business?
I do work in the business a lot of hours, because I think at the early stage you need to be there. Now it's almost three years. I have when I talk about my business, I always talk as a we, because I got business partner like Tommaso, my brother, Lino. So it's
Ragazzi.
It's a teamwork. Now after 3 years, I can potentially step back because it's a machine that works by itself. But my advice is, at the early stage, you need to be there. It's like a baby, you know. You need to be with him, then he start walking, and you stay maybe a little bit less, and then he start walking by itself, and you can step back. At the moment, as you said before, it's a challenging period, so you need to cut wages, you need to work harder than before. So it's a particular moment, but I think after 2 or 3 years, when you establish and we create something, you can finally step back and maybe open something else, or see other aspects that you can see if you work every day in the premises. You can, polishing cutlery and think about the next idea, or how to evolve your brand when you serving tables 50 hours a week. You need to find the right balance to be able to do both.
I definitely agree. Like, finding the right balance is important. Also, from a marketing perspective, I would say that it's really important also to look at marketing and do like the right things. Of course, like in the area, because you're in South Melbourne, right?
Yeah.
But also like some exposure is really important. But in general, I would say I'm curious about the story, right? So when you actually, in 2017, you joined like the Park Street
Yes.
Pasta and Wine. But then it was in 2022 that you decided to buy. Can you tell us the story?
Okay, the story is that I started this journey with my former boss and friend Alex, who owned another restaurant in Peran right now. And I met him at Movida, and I was about to do the third interview for Andy McConnell at Cumulus. And he was opening this little venue, and he said, come with me, like, let's open this little business together. And I say, why not? Because I never was really interested in doing a career for big names. I want to do something for myself at some stage. So I decided to start with him this project since day one. We're talking about, I think, September, October 2017. And then I worked as a venue manager for him till the second lockdown. I decided to leave, not because I had any problem with the business or with him, or something was wrong, but just because with the second lockdown, I couldn't see any future. I couldn't see my position in the business and outside of the business. So I decided to go. In the meantime, I got an offer to join these little free cafes in the area in South Melbourne as a shareholder, because this guy was a regular customer of Park Street. So I decided, okay, let's try this new adventure with him, and I left Park Street to go and work as a shareholder for this little coffee company. And after I think 6 to 7 months, I found out was my cup of tea, cup of coffee, and
Cup
I
of coffee.
quit.
Say a cup of coffee. That's like,
I quit.
Yeah.
And I quit and decided to go back to Italy for a little while, because in the last few years I started to open a pizzeria with Alex. I was an owner of this coffee company. before I opened a place in Collingwood. So in the same time, I tried to. My goal was opening my own business.
You've been really busy in that time.
In between, it was always my goal, my final goal. But living past street and this coffee experience, it didn't go well. Not because it wasn't my thing. And I said, okay, I go back to Italy. I get some ideas, some fresh air. I stopped for a while. And as soon as I booked the flight, after 2 days, I knew that the pastit was on the market, and I put an offer through, and I got in after 2 weeks of negotiation.
Oh, great!
So that's a proof that everything happens for a reason. You're looking for the place to open, and you get the best one, or better, the best one for me.
So you pass through like this phase of like kind of searching and exploring and then moving towards like different ventures. So I was personally like overcoming these challenges to, from like working as an employee in the business to become a business owner.
The passage wasn't hard in the term of running the business itself or managing people. I think being in the position of a restaurant manager for many years and being in the position to feel the business you're running as your business, it creates a business owner for the future. So it wasn't a big step for me coming from a venue manager to a business owner. I need to say that the hard part is that now it's not just you yourself, because even if you have a managing position, you show up at work, you do your job, you go home, you don't have anything to think about. If you have a small business like my business and you have, we start with 20, now we go around 15 employees. Some of them got kids. So I don't want to say this big statement that their life depending on you, but you have responsibility. You need to pay your staff, you need to pay your supplier, you need to create something important. Every day you need to show up to work with the right attitude. If you're in the wrong mood, it's not like you. It's not like, a CDP that is the wrong mood, doesn't talk to anyone. You have 15 people that depending on your mood or your attitude. So it's more the emotional thing that I found challenging, but I found the change between a position of an employee to the business owner. But the leadership and, stay with people, running the business was always in my code.
I think, Luca, I can relate to this because, I got like between like Australia and Europe, I got like almost like 15 people working with me. So I understand the challenge and the responsibility. At the same time, I think leadership, when you start like, moving from, an employee position to becoming a business owner is important. How do you express leadership? How do you lead your team?
Leader, you're born a leader. I'm a big supporter of this thing. Create leadership, you need to start from the foundation. You need to lead by example, first of all, especially at work. You are the first one to show up, the last one to go, at least at the beginning. You have to put your stuff first. For in a ladder of the priorities in my business, I go my stuff first. Because an happy staff turn up to work happy and make the customer happy. And then it's come the community, the investor, and all the other variables of the business. But being focused on your staff is for me my priority, because from there everything started. And the leadership is based on put the emotional part of the person first and the technical aspect a little bit after. You can teach technical skills to basically everyone if you repeat over and over the duty they need to know. A rude person stay a rude person. It's pretty difficult to change. this. So I put the person first and after the worker.
Yeah, I can see that you care a lot about your business, about your people, and that's great. You're doing amazing. Also, the more the team expand, the more the costs rise.
Yeah.
How do you keep your business profitable?
Especially right now, the situation it's tough, as we mentioned before. The cost of good, the cost of the wages were raised, and I think every restaurant has its own solution. But in general, I would say don't cut corners, never. Don't looking for a shortcut, because the quality always pay you off in the long run. Secondly, you need to find another stream of income. For example, in my personal experience, we decided to open 7 days because we have a lot of full contractors. In other cases, maybe if you have a lot of casual, you can decide to close one day. So it depends on the business you're running. We're doing an aperitivo between services when we encourage people to drink cocktails for a really good price. We create a lunch special. And all those sort of things, if you think about back then, were sign of weakness. No one wants to do this sort of deals because say, okay, if we do this, people, they see us like, we're not busy at the moment. Nowadays, everyone is doing it, and it's beautiful because there is nothing wrong with it. Everyone is facing the situation. We don't need to hide from anything, as that's the situation we're facing at the moment. So yeah, finding another, canal to create income. Don't compromise your quality. Work hard. Maybe push on merchandising. I don't know. For me, depend on the business you have. But generally, try to be more creative. COVID put us in a situation where we need to think outside of the box.
I think it's great. So you're creating like extra streams of revenues. And aperitivo has always been like one of those concepts that in Australia, I would say maybe Omar, you know that better than me, like didn't really work, I would say. But are you kind of educating a little bit your customers, getting to try the aperitivo?
Yes, it didn't take off yet. We just started, and the aperitivo hours for there is from 3 to 5:30, which is not actually our Italian aperitivo like.
Yeah, but it makes sense. Really.
It makes sense because they finish the work in the office and they come down. I think it's more like a drink, like an aperitif, because the Italian aperitivo, as you know, you have the glass of wine and you have this buffet of complimentary food on the table.
Yeah, it changed a lot. In Milan, it was like, I remember when I was a kid, like you get like €10 and there was so much food on the table. When I was a student, I loved that so much. Then after COVID, now they give you like a small plate and you pay still 12 to 15 euro. It's really interesting. Like the concept of aperitivo is like really Italian, but I love the fact that you actually change the hours, because like getting in like from 3 to 5 is perfect because it's before. Like in Italy, it's like 6:30 to 7. Have a big small snack, and then we have like dinner around 9 and stuff.
And in Italy, it's a cultural thing, very different from Australia. It is ingrained in our blood, traditions.
I think it's part of the education, as and we said before we're coming for dinner at 5:30. Now instead, I prefer to start the dinner around 6:37. It's the same way. I don't think aperitivo culture took off yet, but it's part of the process.
No, I think it's great. Like, so I've been working in South Melbourne for a couple of years, and I really like the area, right? And I know that like Australians, like they just go to the pub around like 2:30 or 3:30 sometimes. So it's really interesting to actually promote the fact that in South Melbourne now there's like an aperitivo. So I think it's amazing, and we can create and get more people like interested in that. And probably they need to understand a little bit more what is the concept, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be successful.
I think it's the same thing for food. how the scene of the food changed in the last 12 to 13 years. In the same way, it can change the culture of drinking. Just think about the wine scene, how it's changed in the last 12 to 13 years. You talk with Piero, we actually sell his wine at Park Street. And then it's unbelievable, the natural work, biodynamic, local producer. Back 20 years ago, I think it was just painful to other, small producer. No, it's painful, it's not small, but I mean, small in terms of variety and offering. Now we have an amazing producer around Australia, around Victoria especially. So I do think we can change also the culture of the aperitivo. They love to drink, so why just beer at the pub and a nice aperitivo with
a snack.
Cicchetti.
Luca, you were talking about COVID before. My question is, post-COVID, what's changed the most in the restaurant industry?
The thing it changed the most is definitely the buying power. We experienced a really busy year after COVID, because I took over Park Street 16th of August 2022, so just a few months after COVID. And then people were willing to go and craving for food and stay out. They couldn't leave Australia for many years. And even back after COVID, if they could, they were scared to go overseas. They want to stay in their own country. A lot of people got money from the government and they were able to spend those money. So we got a nice blooming in hospitality the first years. The real consequence of the pandemic, I think we felt after 1 year and a half. With the interest rate raising, inflation is still out of the roof. And the buying power is a completely changed.
Do you think this is the most difficult thing Melbourne hospitality is?
Because in the end of the day, it's fair enough. I don't have kids. I don't have a family. So if I would have, I'm going to pay my mortgage first. I'm going to feed my kids, pay the childcare, and I spend my money on leisure as the last thing. So retailing, restaurant are the one that's suffering the most. But just stick together. If we resist this period, I'm pretty sure when it's gonna go back to kind of a normal situation, who survive is gonna live a second positive wave.
In your restaurant, have you seen people are drinking less right now than before?
The regulars are always coming. And not because it's my place, but I do think after 3 years, we reach a really important quality in terms of service and food. I'm really happy the way we're working. But there's no reflecting in the people they show up at the door for this reason. The people were still coming, but instead of maybe drinking a bottle of wine, they have 2 glasses. Instead of sharing few antipasti and have a main and then a dessert after, we just have a pasta or share a couple of things.
Is this because there are many fitness influencers on Instagram and everybody wants to be healthy?
It could be. Actually, there is a lot of selling of mocktails lately. But apart from this joke, I do think, and I feel it in the people, that the problem is the money. People, they don't have money to spend. And they wanted to come. I'm pretty sure people, they want to go out. They want to enjoy the hospitality scene. They want to drink and enjoy the food. The problem is they can't afford it. They can't afford it. And in Australia, they're not used to face this kind of challenge. For us, it's difficult. We can live with $1 a day, with like $1,000 a day. It doesn't change much.
As Italians, we are always in a crisis. We just follow
We're always
crisis.
in a crisis.
2008, if I remember.
Never ends. So for us, it's another crisis.
For them, it's different. They've been, I stand there for many, many years, and now we need to face an economic situation where it's not simple. And first of all, we're gonna cut going out.
Yeah, I understand that as an entrepreneur, there are like challenges, as you were saying before. What has been one of the biggest challenges that you experience as an entrepreneur?
The biggest challenge was for sure the first day I passed through it, when I don't want to say how much money I got on the bank account, but it was less than $1,000. And during the handover of the business, basically they disconnect the electricity.
Whoa.
So I didn't have energy from the source for the power. So it's pretty complicated to get the energy back on. And I'd be spending 2 to 3 hours at the phone with some random guy. And I got right at 1:45 when the first table was at 1:00. And it was a Monday in winter, and I got 42 people booked. So, with no money, no electricity, first day at work, you just bought a business. This was definitely the challenging point as a new business owner.
So there was some stress, but also I would say like the excitement of the beginning.
Was just stressed till I got the electricity. I wasn't worried about the money because I was confident of the business I bought and of, me and my team. Even if back then I didn't even have a chef. But I was confident with the business. But when you don't have electricity the first day, it can be really challenging. You cannot even turn up the light or cooking or nothing. But we made it, but it was tough. This was definitely the most challenging point of my early career.
That's a really interesting story. And we love stories, as you know. And so how do you handle like stress in your business? Is because especially hospitality is like fast-paced business. How do you handle stress day by day?
For me, it's more difficult to handle boldness than stress. I'm able to handle stress. I've always been a really hyperactive guy. Maybe the stress in terms of people, be surrounded by people. My business partner are also my friend and my brother. So I think that's the most difficult thing, always being, under the light, under pressure.
How is it working as a family business?
It's good. You need to, it's complicated, but it's good. And I do think after being, friends and family, they exceptional workers. They're really good at what they do.
I believe family businesses are the most successful until the family fights.
Everyone suggests to don't do business with friends and family, but I think it's quite possible because we're surrounded and you work with them all the time. Like my 3 business partners are people I used to work at DOC 12 years ago. And I don't know better people to do what they do on a daily basis. And the difficult part is, yes, try to divide business from normal life, which is quite impossible. People will say, I'm able to, but maybe I'm at home with my brother and after 5 minutes I'm in the restaurant. Now I can be a separate, different person. It's impossible. And going back to your question, I handle stress, maybe training. I do boxing, I go to the gym. I try to smash in as many workouts as possible. So I show up to work, relax. And when you show up, you say, Luca, you have this is not working, the oven is broken. You handle the situation in another way rather than be full of energy.
Releasing the stress, right?
Yeah, release the stress. Yeah. Bit of meditation. I'm into meditation. So it's the final phase of my life. Like back then, I was going out much and partying and enjoying myself way more than I do now. Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself in the same industry because I found out the hospitality is the core business and it will be the core business of my life. I'm not see myself, like for me to be rich is to be able to have a financial freedom, to be able to go back to Italy as you do, spend some time with my family, be able to travel, having Australia always like a base, like, and move around. Different project would be always related to hospitality. It can be also something like you're doing at the moment, you know, a podcast about talking about hospitality. Or I always dream about having my own hotel, for example. My goal, I see myself like financially free, to be able to do whatever I like, have some free time to enjoy playing tennis rather than, you know, do my own things and be always connected to the hospitality world, but don't be, you know, constrict to be there all the time.
What is your hospitality philosophy in one sentence?
One sentence.
If you can.
If you have one. I always say definitely one thing, one dream, because I repeat every day after briefing and to my employees, to my team. I do think it got a positive aspect of it, like you achieve something when you all act together, especially in the hospitality industry. But I also think it's a negative part that is important in terms of we make mistakes. It's not Omar or Andrea or myself. We win and we lose together. It's really important when you make mistakes to fix them, because working in restaurants like surfing waves, you still have a problem coming every minute. The capacity and the ability of the worker is try to fix those mistakes quickly in the right way and make the customer leave the restaurant happy all the time, no matter what happens. So one thing, one dream is it's winning and create something, like during challenging time and when you make a mistake to act as a team and not like as an individual.
Great.
Thank you.
I agree with your sentence and philosophy. What piece of advice would you give to a younger Luca?
I don't have many regrets. Maybe I would start before to do what I'm doing, to have this mindset, because if you don't have the right mindset, you don't go far. So you have to work on yourself first, and after you're gonna see your result in what you do. Nothing special. Maybe take more time for myself, in terms of instead of chasing always something, and I spend a lot of years studying French, studying this, doing photography, because I was craving to finding my path. And then one day I just stay still and I think I do like what I do. And there's another advice I'm gonna give it to people that wanna leave their own country and go overseas to work in hospitality. I finished my course of study, and my mom was saying, "Why you go there to work as a waiter? You have a degree in your pocket." They never stopped me, don't get me wrong, but don't listen to those people. Do your own thing. I'm a big supporter of hospitality as a way to personal growth, to put on the table your creativity. It's also an exceptional way to create contact. I know lawyers that they found the studio they're working at the moment through hospitality, working as a waiter. You can meet a lot of different cultures. You can open your mind. It's a beautiful job.
Luca, congratulations on your successes. For us, it was a pleasure to have you at Dining Room Stories.
Pleasure was mine.
Grazie mille.
Grazie
And
a
we
voi.
definitely come and see you
Anytime.
at Park Street Pasta and Wine.
Grazie. Thank you.
Grazie mille, Luca.
Grazie.
It was a pleasure and a beautiful story.
Welcome to Dining Room Stories with Domar and Andrea, where we take you behind the scenes of the restaurant business world with stories and conversation that inspire.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the episode. I'm gonna see you in the next one.